to the 5. We're getting into 2012 news now, and one issue making its way to the forefront of this election is immigration. And in Florida, where I was this morning, actually, for Fox and Friends, and there's a lot of excitement because the Fox News debate of the Republican candidates is happening Thursday night in Orlando. One of the things interesting is that we've talked about a little bit before when you have to kind of tack to the right or the left in your primary, and then you have to run in a general, and promises or things that you said in the primary might not sound so good to the general election audience. Kimberly, Michelle Bachmann and Mitt Romney apparently talking a little bit about immigration in Florida and saying that Perry is more liberal on immigration than they would be. Is that a dangerous thing to do in a state like Florida?
I think it is. And so, but they have to make a bold move because now he's the front runner. They want to find something that's going to resonate to be able to attack him with. But whether or not this is going to work for them long term, it's a little bit short-sighted. It's like trying to get ahead right now, but ultimately, will you be able to cross the finish line first? I mean, he's in an unenviable position.
We should ask the right winger.
Do you think
that Perry's liberal on immigration?
I was hoping you'd save me for last, so I wouldn't have to answer.
No offense.
Look, this is the one issue. I can get over the HPV thing. He said he made a mistake. This is the one I just can't get over. I don't understand.
Because you think there should be a fence?
No, I think there should be a fence. I think it should be a patrolled border. But the part that really bothers me is that he says that children of illegal immigrants should be allowed in-state tuition. I just don't understand why that has to be his platform. He's so conservative, with the exception of that. It bothers me.
Can I make one point about Texas? Texas, unlike the other border states, has a much different history when it comes to immigrants coming in, because they come in and they work for the season, the agricultural season. And if you look at George Bush got 40% of the Hispanic vote, 40%, and it fell down to the 30s, low 30s with John McCain. The fact of the matter is, if the Republicans want to keep doing this myopic view about some border and a fence, and I'll tell you, build a 12-foot fence and we'll build 13-foot ladders. The fact of the matter is that it works in Texas, and I don't think that Perry...
Yeah.
Who's we?
Did you hear that?
You and the illegal immigrants?
You and the illegals are going to
like what you say.
Is that what he said?
You, my friend Denny up there, we can make a business out of it.
Because in Florida, you're not going to build a fence. And my question really is about Florida is probably the most important state that the presidential candidate in 2012 can try to win.
That's the game.
And that's
so
not
you're
a big
making
deal.
an immigration point in your primary that's too far to the right to where you're going to be able to win Florida. Do you think that's a problem?
Let's remember that it's Cuban Americans in that state, although the Cubans have their own laws. Frankly, they
don't.
They do too. If they can get to the United States, they can stay. I'm not attacking Cubans, and don't set me up to attack Cubans.
I'm not.
I mean, some of them I don't like, but
Bob, what Bob's saying is, I actually agree with you. It's like, if you are risking your life to get to this country, you have a place here. The only thing is, we need to have a process to allow that to happen.
Right.
We're too busy focusing on the people and not on the process.
Just ridiculous.
But wait. If you risk your life and you make it, you should be able to stay.
That's my process.
Yeah.
That is my process. Unless you're like a crazy criminal, like Bob.
Okay. And another question, speaking of Perry, is I don't really think this is a big deal, but maybe others are going to make a big deal of it, and I know the other candidates will try, is that last month, unemployment in Texas was 8.4%. This month, it's 8.5%. Do we care?
Dana P. Rhino again. It's 8.5%.
No, I said I disagree.
Okay, good. You're not. Well, why are you even bringing it up? Look,
you're dying to use that name against me.
He has. He loves it.
Obama's home state of Illinois, 9.9%. I mean,
when your boy,
but you're even mad at him, though.
When your boy Hopalong Perry got into office, unemployment was 4.2%. It's now double that in that state. And you know what? And you know where most of their employment went from? It's public service employment, by the way.
No. Right. The government employment went down, and the private sector employment went up over the month. So his uptick to 8.5%.
The fact is that unemployment is increasing in the state of Texas, and it doubled under his watch.
But it doesn't matter.
And it didn't double under Obama's watch.
It upticked from 8.4 to 8.5%.
Excuse me. He came into office, it was 4.2.
It was 11 years ago. 11 years ago.
Excuse me.
George Bush had a 5.4% national unemployment. What are you trying to say?
It doubled under his watch.
The immigration issue. Otherwise, because he thinks it's inconsistent, right? You think it's inconsistent with
I think that Governor Perry will have some explaining to do on immigration, but I think he can do it very well. I've heard him explain it, and he might even be able to persuade.
It's also not as big an issue in Florida as it is in a lot of other places.
Right. All right, coming up, a Middle East showdown right here in the United States. The Palestinians are planning to make an official bid for statehood at the UN this week. And this could be the ultimate test for Obama's policy on Israel. We'll talk about that next on The 5.
Sitting on the porch drinking ice cold